to the world of bazzzberry. My name is Lucas, and today I'm going to make white classical cake. The reason why it stays white because we have no egg yolks in it whatsoever. Today I'm going to be helped by my papa.
Hi!
Which is going to help me mix all the ingredients.
Alright, perfect. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe, and just want to say thank you for watching. And please leave any comments you would like for us to make, or just any comments about the video. We'd love to see them. Thank you very much, and let's get started.
Okay, so first we're going to add our flour.
And I'm going to do the stirring.
Then we're going to add our sugar.
And you can also do this in a mixture, but we're using this just so we can show what we're actually doing here.
Then we're going to add our milk. And then we're going to add our butter.
And before we actually started all of this, what we did also, we went ahead and pre-oiled pre-buttered our cake pans, and we already turned our oven on to 350 degrees.
Okay, now we're going to add our salt, our baking
Our baking powder.
And I'm going to add my salt.
Salt, perfect.
And then I'm going to add some vanilla.
Ooh, vanilla, yummy. Now, many classical white cakes actually call for almond extract. However, we use vanilla extract because we're not a huge fan of almond extract. You know, it gives us a whole completely different flavor profile of what we like, and so we actually go for this one. So I'll have you finish whipping a little bit. So while he's whipping, I'm going to go ahead and flour our cake pans. As I said a while ago, I went ahead and oiled these with a little bit of butter. And now I'm just going to tap it over. And then what I like to do here, I like to actually move it around, but I do it over the other cake pan. That way I don't cause that much of a mess. Now, if you have parchment paper and you're really great with scissors, you can also use parchment paper, but I always found this worked really well also. And the second one, add a little extra flour. And then what we also did, what did we put behind us?
Egg whites.
And egg whites, what do we do to those egg whites?
We whip them until they're hard.
Right, so we whip them until they're hard as 6 pieces. Perfect. So I'll bring it over. And as you see with the stiff peaks, with the egg whites, it's actually in there really nicely. So one of the big things you want to do now is what?
Stir them in and make sure that you don't stir too hardly. Otherwise the air of the egg whites will go away. So let's make sure that we get all the egg whites in there. Okay.
Perfect. So if you end up stirring the egg whites too hard, and actually we're going to fold them in. Actually, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that. We're actually going to fold the egg whites in because, as Lucas said, if you stir them in too hard, then the egg whites collapse. And then that takes away a lot of the structure from your cake. So egg whites, as you see, have a lot of the air. And this is how you fold. I don't think I've ever shown you this. But this is how you actually fold a recipe. So what you do, you take your batter, and you literally fold the dough. Fold the batter right on top of the egg whites. And as you might see, I'll zoom in here. And as you see, you're not breaking down the egg whites at all. You have a really great batter, and you're not breaking down the egg whites at all.
Now it's mostly fluffy.
Yeah. One great thing that this process and this technique works on is actually waffles. When you're making waffles homemade, you actually fold the egg whites into it, and it keeps waffles nice and fluffy.
Pro tip.
All right. So I'm going to fold that in a little bit more for me, if you don't mind. I'll get some of this out of the way so we can actually see what we're doing here. Okay. So as you see, the cake pans are nice and floured. Have a little extra on them, okay? And all that does is help it where it doesn't stick. Perfect. I think that's really good. What do you think, Lucas? You think it's ready? I'm going to smear it down a little, spread it down a little bit. So I do want to incorporate the egg whites a little more.
Okay.
Okay. You want to scrape?
No, you can
Okay.
I'll hold it up.
I'll hold the bowl. How about that? Remember, we're going to do about half in this pan. And then we're going to cut that off. And we're going to do about half in this pan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to bake your cakes nice and evenly. Now let's put some more in this pan. Make sure you get all that yummy goodness in there. And I'm sure you're really going to love this. And what we're going to do later, we're going to show you how to make a nice buttercream. And we're going to actually...
you can cover your cakes.
Yeah, great job, Lucas. Man, I tell you what, this has been so fun being able to cook with my son here in the kitchen. It's been really enjoyable.
It's enjoyable for me too.
All right, what do you think here? So what I want you to do with this one, Lucas, I want you to take it, give it a little shake. All right, you don't want to shake the air out. You just want to give it a little bit of a shake. That's good. Okay, nope, don't do that, because if you do, you knock some of the air bubbles out of it. All right, now we're going to go place it in the oven at 350 degrees. For how long?
25 minutes.
25 to 35 minutes. One great way that you're going to learn how is we're going to...
toothpick it.
Exactly, and when the toothpick comes out...
And if it's not clear...
when the toothpick comes out clean...
It's ready.
Exactly.
So, we've let our cake cool. So, another way you can know that your cake is done, not just by toothpicking it, but by seeing that it's been unsticking to the edges. See this? It's not sticking to the edges. Now, I'm going to run my knife through this to make sure that it's not stuck to the sides of the pan. I'm going to run it one more time. Make sure that you don't cut straight through it or make a slice. Then your cake will be ready. Now I'm going to take this out so it can cool on the bottom side. Okay, lock that up. And now it's going to cool. Okay, so now we're going to make our cake frosting. Here's our powdered sugar. We pre-sifted it because it's easier to work with. We always have a little bit of extra powdered sugar, just in case we need it. We also have a little bit of extra milk. And we have our butter. And we have our vanilla. Okay, let's add our butter in first. I'm not good at holding bowls. They slip out of my hands. Okay, now we're going to add our vanilla. Okay, now we're going to add just half of the milk. Oops, added all of it. Okay, now let's mix it. Make sure that you don't have it on to high speed, otherwise that mistake will happen to you. Let's just keep that a little bit. Just want all the butter to be in there. Now just going to start mixing. We're going to lift it back up because some of the powdered sugar isn't getting inside the actual bowl, so we're just going to push it in. And we're going to push it until it's all off. Okay, once it's all off, got a little frosting on the spatula. Then we're going to stir it to 1 speed, maybe 2. And if the area starts to smell like powdered sugar, that means you're doing good. Okay? Now I'm going to taste test it. Okay? I'm going to whip it just a little bit more. I'm going to put it on the high flame so it mixes really well. And it tastes good. No need for more powdered sugar. Okay, now our frosting is done.
Frosting the cake.
Okay, so now that our cake is cooled and our frosting is done, now we're gonna take this off first. Bam. Take it off. in. And then I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it right there. Okay. Now, there. Thank you. Okay. Now that we're ready, we're going to take some of our frosting and just give it a big wallop on there. Okay. If it isn't enough, we can always add more. Spread. We're gonna make sure that it's the same thickness all around. We're definitely gonna need some more. Get another big one, and then top. Now we're gonna just, I'm gonna go whoosh, and we're gonna go whoosh until it's all frosted. Gonna keep going whoosh, and then after you've gone whoosh and you frosted your cake, you're gonna rinse and repeat until you frosted your cake. Make sure that it's not, that you can't see the actual cake. It's just all frosted. Okay? Now my trusty assistant is gonna add the second layer. Okay, now we're gonna move that on there. Get the big wallop. Speed. And then we're gonna plop that on. If we need more, we can always add more. That's my golden rule. Okay, spread it. Okay, let's just add a little bit more because it looks like it's frosted, but to me it's not totally frosted. So let's just get plop, 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 plop. Okay, and then we're gonna frost the edges. We're gonna make sure that it's all stroking in the same way, just to make it look pretty and adequately. If there's holes, it's okay. Okay, now we're gonna frost the edges. So we're just gonna, bam, simple transfer. And then we're just gonna slather some on it. All in. Just gonna keep going whoosh. And then if we need to add more, we just slap some more. Yeah, it's definitely gonna need some more. I suggest for this one, use a tiny one. I honestly think it's okay. This is what it looks like from my side. It might not look as pretty, but it is frosted. Okay. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell down below. And if you have any comments, or if you want us to just make a certain recipe, please leave them in the comment section. Comments section. Bye-bye.